So we're going to get to MVP of the week. Guys, so MVP of the week is somebody who goes above and beyond constantly. It's not just about that 1 week. Sometimes it's about a lot of weeks. Sometimes it's about everything contributing to the team and everything about that, guys. So MVP is a great honor of what we go there and get to share and everything like that. So I'm going to bring up Dan Swanson to take us back in time. Let's give it up for Dan Swanson to introduce somebody you've never seen before. Great job.
Good morning, D6. I know the suspense is killing you, but I'm excited to talk about this person that we got coming in today. So guys, this individual, who we may or may not know, has been with us for a while now, and they've always been a presence in the office, always showing up to the office, probably spends more time in the office than any other agent, I would say. And, you know, sometimes when you come in on Sundays, if you're lucky, you'll walk in and you'll see this person dancing. Dancing by themselves. Because this person loves to dance and have a good time. But not only that, but what she brings to the team is leadership by example. This individual, since they first started here, just shy of a year and a half ago, has already produced nearly 200,000 APV in total. Okay, and on top of that, they were just recently in our top 10 for our divisional leaders for producers as well. So we all need to. No, I'm not done yet. There's more.
Keep it coming.
This is an individual also that spends time training the newer agents and showing leadership in that direction. It really wants to be known as someone that really invests a lot of energy and effort into training new developed agents, so everyone has a great chance of succeeding here. So not only that, the final point I'll share, just also hit 52 weeks straight in the field. The fifth person ever in D6 to hit one straight year in the field. Let's bring up Abigail Danik. Abigail! Woo! Keep it going.
Let's give it up for Abigail.
MVP!
MVP!
Oh, you look so cute. Okay, so.
Oh, thank you. God bless you. And super excited. Super excited to be here. Super excited to be up here this morning. You know, it's interesting. When I started Combined, I had no idea that what a beautiful journey that it would be. Like, came in here and had different plans about being here, and then I fell in love with everything and everybody, and I couldn't go anywhere anymore. But you know what? I want to say, first of all, number one is all the glory to God, because without him and just leading me and bringing the right people into my life, which is all you guys, right? To make me better, to take me to where I want to go in life. And, you know, we all have goals, we all have dreams, and we all know too that we can't do it by ourselves. So just to talk about, you know, how I got to my streak. Now, when I started here, I started fast and I started strong. And I remember there was a time when I actually had like I don't know, it was probably about 27. I was on a 27 streak, and I didn't actually understand the streak, other that there was a prize at the end. That, you know, you wave the carrot and I'm in. But for whatever reason, I let that go. I just didn't do business the next week. And I remember thinking to myself, I didn't care. How is that even possible for someone who wants to go somewhere, who says they want to go somewhere, and let that go? Like after 27, you would think that I would have been, I had something going. But, it's interesting that it is a walk, it is a journey, and we all have to walk through it. And so when I did that and I let it go, I decided that it was a week later, like the next week, I'm like, are you kidding me? You are on the board for being out in the field, which good for everybody who's out on the field. But I should have had 28 that week or something like that, not one or not even one. But anyway, that's when I decided that I'm going to run at the 52 streak. I didn't know what that was going to look like. I just made that decision that day that I am going to go for a year straight. Okay. So I didn't even think about the money I would make. I didn't think any of that. I just said a year streak. There's other people doing it, so I'm going to go that route. So I made that decision. The question then that I had to do, ask myself is, what was it going to take to make a sale every week? Because at the end of the day, like, here's the thing is, if we're here full time and we're not making a sale at least once a week, like, that's me being ridiculous. I don't know what that's for you. That for me is being ridiculous, not even having a single sale a week when I'm here on a full-time basis. Like, come on, there's people that need to be protected, right? So these are just thoughts that are going in my head. So at the time, all I knew was the phones. I didn't know anything else. I just knew that I had to get on the phones to book appointments in order for me to get on my street. Because I knew that this is one thing that I understand, is I understand that it doesn't matter what kind of activity it does matter what kind of activity, but what activity you're putting into your business, it's going to come out, it's going to show up somewhere. So it's activity. It's all about the activity at the end of the day. What kind of activity are you putting in? So I knew I had to put that in. Then Mark, like the genius, he raised the standard and he just said, you know what? It's 10. It's no less than 10. 10 appointments a week. We look at that every single week. Every time we come in here, we see that thing on the wall there. It's 10, no less than 10. Then I moved on to that. And, you know, we had the importance of just being on Zoom or being at the training. It's interesting that Casey's killing it right now, because it was Casey who kind of put me on the track of doing 10 appointments a week. We did, for whatever reason, she was sitting over there. I'm like, I want to do a share with her, because I just take a look around the room and I'm like, who's the champion today? No, I'm just kidding.
And today she went into the washroom in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
I'll be back in the office soon enough to dance with you, Abigail.
So I knew I was going to be sharing with her, and I don't know what the conversation was, but basically she said to me, what do you mean you didn't do 10? Now, she may not have said it in those words, but I received it like that. Like, I received it like, you're way better than that. And what do you mean you didn't do 10? What? And she's like, and I went home thinking she's right. Like, what do you mean you didn't do 10? Are you kidding me? Like, what are you serious about making a life in combined for yourself? So anyways, thank you for that, Casey. And so then I knew it was the focus on doing 10. So what did I have to do, right? Well, I had to make phone calls to make sure that I had at least 10. I had to make actually at least 15 appointments, because we know how it goes. Life happens to all of us. And for whatever reason, those appointments don't always stick. So sometimes I would make 5 calls and I would hit 5 appointments right off the bat. Sometimes I would hit like 50 phone calls and 50 contacts, and I might have booked 6. You know how discouraging that is? Because people put us off all the time. They're, call me next week, call me next month, call me next year, call me. You can bet, though, that I pencil it in, I put it in my calendar, and they're getting a call. And it's hilarious because some say, yeah, you know, like, I'll be ready in a year. And I'm like, awesome. But you're getting a call in a year. And when they get a call in a year, they're like, oh, wow, hi. Some even thank me for following up that after that long of a time. So sometimes it takes that. But you guys, without putting the work in, this is not going to happen. So when I take a look at, what works and how do you stay on that street? Because it's not easy, right? You think, well, 1 sale a week, you have 7 days to do it. If you are not on that streak, it is a difficult thing and it's a scary thing. And that's normal. It's normal. But at the same time, it's the standard that we put in there for ourselves, right? What are we going to shoot for? And so I look around and I'm thinking to myself, well, you know, what are the people, who are the people that are winning? I look at that and what are they doing? Like, I remember Tamara comes in and she's like 10 appointments. She sees 10 on the wall. I don't know. Daniel tells her 10, 10, 10, 10. She's doing 10 appointments, 10 appointments, 10 appointments. Then she lets it go. And then guess what? She picks it back up again. She's already done, I don't know how many. I've seen her in some chats that I've been in and she's just killing it. And then I don't know, she probably got like 12 still booked and she's already done a few. So that's beautiful, right? Demarius walks in here. And she says, what does she say? She says, I know I didn't want this to be a thing, right? I'm working 4 hours a day. Like, do you think if you're working 4 hours a day in this, that you're not going to get somewhere? Number one for the trip on the new people. Woo! Yes. Like, I'm just like you, it's success leaves clues, right? And we hear that often in videos, people say it. Well, what are the clues? Generally speaking, work, work in your business, right? Bobby, what beautiful energy you had, Bobby, for me last week. I'm sorry that you're not here because your beautiful energy, we need it. Anyway, she comes in and what I loved about what she said was on the chat. If you guys pay attention to the chat, right? She freaking takes off like a bat out of hell and does exactly what Mark tells her to do. And that is to go book appointments. And she's exhausted I didn't catch it till the next morning because I'm like, I'm sleeping at that time. And I'm thinking to myself, how many of us are sleeping while she's working? Right? And one thing that a video that Mark put a long time ago, Kobe Bryant, he said, no wonder so-and-so is, and you dropped the bomb there and said he's winning. There's nobody working. You get comfortable. You come in here, you win a few, and then you settle down because, you know, you got your name on the board or you got this and that, and then you settle down. So I'm speaking about me, you know, this is me. And so I am just thinking to myself, wow, now I want to do like Janelle's done. And Ginny has done, and not let that streak go, right? Because I could be like, okay, I won my trip. That was my carrot. Boom. There's no trip for 2 years or 3 years. But that's not the point. You know, what Mark has done is just simply put things in front of us so that we ourselves can make a decision to raise the standard in our lives. And when we raise the standard, we get what we want. Because the truth of the matter is that whatever our rituals are, whatever we decide that we're going to do, that's going to be our standard, right? So if you're struggling with 10 points or 10 appointments a week, that's what you have set forth for your standard. If you're struggling with keeping a streak, that's really just been your standard. Because I hear it often. You know, you're on a streak and you're like, yeah, I didn't get mine, but oh, well, I'm okay. We'll do this and that. And we lie to ourselves that it's okay, because it is a lie, because it's not okay, because we're all here. We saw something. We said to ourselves, we want something huge. We want something bigger. And Mark told us, has given us the example, right? He makes the most money in the company. So if he does that, why wouldn't we just go ahead and listen to everything that he says to do, just like Demarius has done with him, with Bobby has done with him, but Tamara, you know, like I just think to myself, we are the limit. There's nobody limiting us. I am my limit. Not even the sky is the limit. I am the limit for me. You are the limit for you. And why do we limit ourselves? And it's simply because of a standard. And I just encourage everybody that, I mean, I've decided I'm going to raise the standard to what Mark has told us to do, raise that standard. Now we have a new one, right? Like he's always putting things in front of us to make us just run. And maybe one of them will drop into our hearts and we're to take off running 10,000 points. Like how freaking exciting is that? For me, it was the most exciting thing in the whole wide world. Like I exploded inside when Michael told us that we were number one. last year, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to say to people that I recruit, you're welcome to the #1 team in Canada. But do we want to let that go? No way. We want to continue saying we're the #1. And hey, let me introduce you to Damaria. She's #1 and she just came in and is killing it, FYI. And here's Bobby. And you know, like this is you guys, this new people that are coming in, that us that have been here for a while, we're supposed to be inspirations to those that have been here for a while, right? So I'm just so grateful to be in business with you. Lorena, she has taught me so many things. Like, you know, people come in and just with their beautiful experiences in their lives, take us to another level. And thank God for that. And then our leader, Mark, who's continuously growing and bettering himself only to take us higher. Like, I'm surprised for the work that we put in. And that just as me, but the work that I put in, and he's still here because I'm sure he could be somewhere else making a ton of money. I know what's out there and I know what I get offered because of the experience that I have here. And that will come to you. That will come for you too. And you could either take it this way. I could do better somewhere else. I could do better here. But here's the thing. If you're not doing better where you're at right now, don't even kid yourself and think that you're going to go somewhere else and do better. Right? So let's just make up our minds to raise the standard that Mark has set before us and go win at this thing every single week. If we're here full time, don't let less than 10. Don't let that less than 10 go by. Like he even said to me when I started doing my 10, call me, do an appointment with me. And I'm like, how ridiculous is that? But at the same time, why not? It's a practice. He could see how good or how terrible I am and see why I'm making the sales or why I'm not making the sales. Like, it's just genius, right? And here's the thing. If it's, you know, like how many times I heard Lorena one time, she was talking to Angel. She's like, oh yeah, I didn't get my 10. And she's like, well, you still have 3 hours or something like that, right? So she went out and did her thing and got it in there. So we need each other. I couldn't have done this without you guys. Every one of you, whether you've been here for a long time, how much has Paige helped me in business? Daniel's patient and love for me. Mwah. Oh my God, I am a work in progress. There's no doubt about it. But I could not have done this without each and every one of you. Like I could call all your names and say, this is what you've done for me, you know, like you just, whether you've made me. I love you, Paige. So anyway, you guys, we have so many beautiful examples. And this is one thing that I know is God is not a respecter of persons, which means simply this: if one person's doing it, we can all do it. Right? Achieve what the greats have done in the company, what Mark has done. I can't wait to get to his level. And then imagine where he will be. And, you know, like the friends that we're going to make and become. Like, it's just so super exciting. So thank you so much, you guys, for this time with you. And MVP does nothing but just makes me realize how grateful I am to be amongst a group of people that are so full of integrity and love for each other and really wants each other to win. Yeah. And, you know, and then when everything opens up, we get to go celebrate in Mexico and come back and then encourage those that didn't get to go to come and come with us. And it's just beautiful. It's an awesome place to be. And I thank you so much, Mark, for the trainings and just the encouragement and the chats and everything is, I'm super grateful. So thank you for this opportunity, you guys. God bless every one of you and see you at the top.
Let's give Abigail a huge round of applause. Abigail! Good picture. So my notes. Oh. Let's give Abigail a huge round of applause. 52 weeks streaks. Never missed a trip. Let's give her a huge round of applause.
We love you, Abigail.
Yeah. Oh, got some fans out there. Yeah. Send those messages private. But honestly, the speech was so fantastic, guys, because there was a lot of vulnerability in there. And it takes a lot, right? Because that's probably the toughest thing in the world. We don't want to let anybody know we're not perfect, right? That's probably the biggest battle out there. We don't let anybody know we're not perfect and everything like that. But we become perfect by learning from the tough times. And the first thing she goes, she fell in love with this thing. If you let go and just try to be like, this is the place. They give us free trips, free prizes. You come to a room and we start off with gratitude. We high five for no apparent reason sometimes. Winning, losing, drawing doesn't even matter, right? We have fun. I got sweet jokes. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. We got videos that, that kind of stuff. We got sick beats that you think are mine, but they're not. They're just off YouTube. But the idea, guys, is that we're having a lot of fun here and enjoying it, but we get to write the whole path. And what Abigail is doing right now is that before this, she's the 5th person to do it. And now look who's right behind her. Kelly, Candace, and it's starting to build up. Yes. Why? Because that means you're out there every single week protecting somebody. And then she gets a weekend getaway. So we always give those prizes at the events, which will come soon, hopefully, right? But we'll do an outdoor event for sure. But she fell in love. She started fast, and she had a 27-week streak and let it go. Wow. But it's not about letting it go. It's about what she learned from letting it go. Because it's okay, because some people justify things, but she let it go and she immediately went, what did I just do? Because if she didn't do that, maybe this time it wouldn't have happened. Maybe been another week, but then she goes, no, I'm gonna, wait, how come I didn't get in field last week? I'm playing full time out here. I'm giving everything I got and I'm not gonna get in field. And then it starts to recapitulate. She's like, that's not happening again. And she said, I'm doing 52 no matter what. And then some weeks are tough and some weeks are easy, right? Because sometimes she's like, boom, Monday, knocked it out the park. And then sometimes it's like Sunday night, oh my goodness, right? Like who can I talk to, right? But that's part of the game because you're going through it, right? Not everybody hits, there's only 5 people, right? And we know Janelle and Jenny have multiplied and they're going on for their 3rd, right? But and then Kelly's really close, but then you got, now Abigail's like, I'm not stopping at 52. I'm gonna go to the next level. And what it does is keep inspiring, right? So, you're like, everything that combined and everything that we're putting in front of us, guys, just before we get to the little congratulations here, is for you to take forward. It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Abigail says. It doesn't matter what Paige says. It doesn't matter what Janelle says. If you don't want to hear it, you're not going to hear it. So if this is a shot for you, then you can go have it because why? It just happened, 52. Everybody here, we didn't even think that was possible. When we first started, we were like, Janelle did 13 in weeks in a row. I think they were all ITOPs, but the point was, but she did 13 at the very beginning and we were like mind blown. She won the competition. She got like a free trip. It was like crazy, but we did 13 weeks. Now it's like 52. Now people are like 2 million. Like it's crazy what starts to happen when we raise the standard and we started getting better and better, but it's only ourselves raising the standard. There's free trips here. Here's a question for us. And as I'm going into this, why don't you want 25 points? Why don't you want Plinko? I'm going to say this really easily. Do you think I'm shooting for under 100 points?
Nope.
Why would I shoot for under 100 points? Oh, Abigail, don't do that 1 point. I like it under 100. I like my paychecks just right here. Doesn't that sound stupid? Yeah. Why wouldn't I want 300, 500, 1,000 points every single week? Wow! I come in here, I kick the door, I need shoes, I wear sandals, I don't care. It would be whatever it would be. I'd be so excited for it. But why is that different than you?
Right.
It's 25 points. You get to play Plinko. You get to come up here, put the Plinko, and you win $600. Like, no! And everybody looks at you and like, oh my God, MVP. And you're like the talk of the town. And on top of that, you make $5 grand, 10 grand up front. Mm-hmm. How crazy is that? Why wouldn't you give everything you've got for that? Tell me what's more important than you winning. Who doesn't want it? Like, I want to be, doesn't everybody just want stuff? Right? This is our shot to get the stuff, but the only limiting person is ourselves. So what an incredible speech, because it's being vulnerable and understanding what this is, but it's us going out there and doing this. And this is our shot in life. Why wouldn't you want to have 25 points every week? What's the pathway to get 25 points? What are they doing to get 25 points? Who do I need to talk to? What's the energy? Who do I have to become to get 25 points? Because I start getting 25 points. You don't have to worry about your bills. You don't have to worry about your part-time jobs. You don't got to worry about anything. You just start to live a life that you're just like, oh my goodness, I just found out how great I really am. That's what's exciting here, guys. And thank you so much for the speech, because that's so fantastic on being vulnerable and everything. Let's give Abigail a huge round of applause here. All right, let's get into some congratulations on top of that as we get to go to the break here. So congratulations this week here. We got some people hitting some things here too. So we got Alex hitting his gold pal, Catherine hitting her gold pal, and Rob Sarita getting his initial pin. Let's give a huge round of applause. All right, we got some more here. We got Angel getting her initial pin, Alex getting his initial pin, John getting his initial pin, and Robert getting his initial pin. Great job. And on top of that, we're going to keep them going here. We got Robert getting his pearl pin, John getting his pearl pin, Angel getting her pearl pin, and Susie getting her pearl pin. Let's give a huge round of applause. So fantastic, guys. We're going to go to the break here. We're going to take a quicker break because we got things to get through here today. So we're going to come back, we'll come back at 10:10 and we're going to get things rocking and rolling. So we'll see you guys at 10:10. Thank you so much. Great job. Congratulations, Abigail. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Fantastico. So we are not going to do that. I'm just going to give you guys an announcement. Can you, Paige, put up the one, this destination upstream one? You can pull that over there. That's okay. Thanks. All right, guys. So just going to give you guys a quick, let's give Abigail a huge round of applause. How fantastic was that? That was amazing. Guys, honestly, this is our shot. This is where we get to go. And this is, again, your realization when you go to training is what you get to do with it, right? It's not that we got to training today. It's what do we do at training today and it gets to move forward, right? So the idea is we're moving upstream and everything like that. But I got to give you guys a quick note. The face-to-face actually did happen right now. So that's crazy. You're still allowed to do face-to-face, but you have to do it like back in the day where you had to email Mike and then so talk to your sales leader. And now you can just send it to Mike and get the face-to-face. So again, we filled the tracker and then you send it to Mike so Mike can give you approval and then he'll attach into the corporate, right? So again, if we're going to go face-to-face or book an appointment at all, make sure you talk to your sales leader really quickly. And if you have one like today, you need to get that sent out to it and then get your sales leader to text them ASAP to get going on it, right? So if you have anybody here, especially for the person I was calling, just in case you're going to a place, make sure you just text Mike and let him know just the place you're going and everything like that. So he'll be punching into the group at the end of training today. So no biggie, not a big change up, guys. We just have to do it like we did before, just emailing just in case, everything like that. So they're just taking the extra precautions. So not a huge change up. We just got to be proactive. You can't just go out there and visit somebody brand new. All right. So let's give Abigail another huge round of applause. That was awesome. That got me pumped up. That got me fired up. All right, here. So destination upstream, guys. So again, what we're doing here is going upstream. So again, you're going to see in the video here today that is talking about you got to do something a little bit difficult because that gets you from the distractions out in life of just like the normalcy, just the going through the motions and everything like that, right? So we got to get excited about it. So today we're going to get into these 1-minute slides and stuff like that. If it's tough, then let's do it tough, all right? So we need to do these certain things. We're going to get to know our products inside and out. We're going to have our business efficiency. We're going to know how to create as many booking appointments as possible. You heard it from Candace. You heard it from Abigail. It's like, that's it. And all we have to do is reset and be like, okay, here's all the people I've talked to. Let me just follow up with them. And you know what? It'll start to just actually transfer right there. Our presentation skills, which we're going to work out today, and our elite vision. Because we're a little bit behind today, we're just going to be focusing on elite presentation skills to get into the 1-minute slides to make sure we're understanding why we're doing this and having a whole lot of fun today. So it's going to be a lot of getting this. So make sure you have your iPads ready because you're going to have somebody just clicking through and you're going to have somebody timing, which we'll talk about in a second here. So sizzle versus quality presentation. Obviously, Scissor is the quick 1-minute slides, 5-minute trainings, guys, because sometimes you might be just going to not right now, because we obviously get approval, but if you go to a construction site, sometimes you're not going to have 5 minutes, like, let me tell you our 4-step process. And you're not going to have that. You're just going to be like, I'm going to go right to the HEA. Yeah. Hey, let me show you what I got here. This is for hospitalization. If you got an ambulance, to be like, okay, what's this? Or go to stitches or something like that. You need to be able to go through it. Remember, guys, it's not this, it's all this is skills to get out there. It's not just like, this is a robot, right? It's not like that. You can do what you're going to go out there and do. So that's why you want to be able to do these 1-minute slides, have it on your phone, ready to go, and be action-packed all the time. So warm market and the sizzle. This is the major key to our business. Again, you have 100, 200, 500, 1,000 people. Those are all your promoters that need to go out there. And so like Dan said today, it's like a year later, then somebody calls him up and they're like, hey, Dan, you need to get this out there. How cool is that, right? Like that's what you're looking for. Yep. And that's what we're kind of dreaming for, but it's also 5 years of work to get there, right? So it's also, we have to understand our warm market doesn't like to be sold, but they love to be helped. They love to find things. They love maybe some gift cards, right? For going out there and just pointing people in direction. And once you go to those next people, that's next done. Like that's 40% sold if you're going on somebody else's credibility. So I'm like, that's what you want to be, how do I get to referrals as quickly as possible? And that's the major key. So let's get their help. So the referral is what we're shooting for, fast with energy, and the digital T system. So making sure you know somebody that they know and talk about already, you're already going to see them. And if they get something earlier, they could take advantage of the thank you program. That's urgency. There's something to that, right? And if you just heard that yesterday, you're like, well, what was that? I would do that because that was exactly how I'd build the whole business, right? Think big picture, not for sale, and have hundreds of promoters talking about you. The more sales that they have, the more they know the lingo, the more they know every this stuff. And then that's what we're talking about a minute slide. Because if you guys give all these 45-minute presentations, they're not remembering anything other than when is this person going to stop talking? And you might think, oh no, Mark, I'm so good at talking. I'm like, no, you're not. Because if you can, why would you say it in 45 if you can say it in 2? Who's got that kind of time, right? Especially with the world that we're looking at. So we're constantly always improving here. And this is where we're going to do 1-minute slides. So the reason why is quick slides is short window of time. Sometimes you just have short window of time. So you're going to be able to do a 1-minute slide. Doesn't mean you do a 1-minute slide every single time. Doesn't mean you have to do that at the financial house and just talk as fast as I'm talking all the time, trying to get to the point of the training today. But the idea is, when you're going through it, if you have to, because it's a quick amount of time, you gotta see this really quick here. I know you only got a minute. And guess what? You can do it in a minute. But if you're like, oh, I just got a quick minute here, and then you take 6, terrible person. I was just like, you're just taking time. But if you're just like 1 minute here, they're like, whoa. So there's another thing that happens here is client got talking too long. You're doing the big presentation. Right? When you give them the Form IQ and they're just like, how much time are you talking to ask questions to me? Right? The reason why people go to the doctor, as in Reader's Digest, is for an audience. They're like, oh, this hurts, my kids hurt, this hurts, all that kind of stuff. My car's failing. They just start talking to the doctors like, what does it, that's why you see in there, it says 2 problems. I don't want to hear anything else. That's why doctors had to do that. So when you're going through the Form IQ, sometimes they just want to talk to somebody and let them know about their family, and somebody's never been interested. So you got to be on point, but you got to also know you can't be there for 45 minutes. So you got to be like, okay, these next slides, I've got to wrap it up a little bit here. Gets them excited. The new world. What's the new world? Everybody thinks it's constant distractions all the time. People can't even do anything. Talked about the phone earlier, right? If you leave your phone at home,
Oh my God.
it's like you could have left anything else but the phone, right? The phone is like, oh my goodness. It's probably one of the best feelings in the world when you actually just, like my dad doesn't have a cell phone. People are like, why don't you have a cell phone? Like, what if we need to reach you and you have an emergency? He's like, I'm out. Why do I want to talk to anybody? I'm out doing my thing. I'm getting something, I'm coming back. And it's like, to us, I'm like, you're like, oh, but what if somebody does something, like, you're like, oh, wow. So just a different way. So it's a new world. So we have to get them excited, right? And it creates urgency. The idea of a 1-minute slide is to create an urgency. Again, if it's too long, it's going through the motions, right? You're just like, here's the foundation of a house, right? So what happens here is you want to have this and they get forms. You know what a form is? It helps build and puts the concrete in. So that's your parents. Your parents are forming you when you're young. And you're like 5 minutes in, you haven't got past the point of what are we talking about, right? Nobody cares about that stuff. What are you building a house? You ever looked at a house and be like, I wonder how the concrete was made? Nobody ever cares. You're just like, do you have a gumball machine? Eagle's Lair. Okay, so here's the thing that we're going to do today, guys. We're going to break into groups. So there'll be 2 groups here. And then honestly, what it is, it's going to be breakout rooms for 5 minutes on one of these slides. So when we do the slide here, the thing is, it's just person's going to go and the next person goes. We're not going to see somebody, you're going to get to see somebody in the group go. So I would try to be first if I was going to just be doing this, because then you get to go. And it's not about how great it is. It's about finishing in 1 minute. And so just funny. But then you just grab your, somebody's going to time it and you just have 1 minute to finish the slides. So you want to be able to do a few things here. So it's a 1 minute timer and the next person can go and do the slides. But the cool thing is what Abigail was talking about is that we're always learning and improving. So the idea is like almost like a science project. It's not about, okay, whose is better. It's about how we can improve, because when you hear somebody else do this, you're going to be amazed how fast that you're going to be hitting the key points and doing what they're doing. So if you want to go first, then the next person on top is like, okay, I got to make sure that person just didn't finish quite fast enough, so I need to go through a little bit quicker. Or they did it right time. They want to make sure I get certain points across. And then you know what we're going to find out during this time? What's the most important things? So this is why we're doing almost like an experiment. You're going to find out what's the most important things and what's the things that I'm just adding because I'm bored. right? You know what I'm talking about? Right? So it's like when people are like, oh my goodness, my financial house takes 20 minutes. I'm like, I know, because you don't have a financial, okay. But idea is just to get through it quickly and make sure we hit the key points. So you don't want to miss the key points. You want to make sure you're hitting the key points of what the point of the slide is, right? You don't want to just skip through and be like, I'm done in 10 seconds, what's up? Like, you know, it's not competition. It's like, what's the key points? And then come back down, because you have to get it in front of somebody for a minute. So you're just going to get to go. So everybody gets to go for a minute. It doesn't matter how good it is or anything like that. It's just about how we can improve on it. Everybody can see that everybody's trying. So in the 5 minutes, you probably get through 3, maybe 4 in that time frame, because everybody's just going through it, and you're just like, awesome, great job. I loved how you did that. Boom, the next person just goes, right? And that's going to be the same in the breakout rooms in the group here, but you got to bring energy. You got to be inspiring. Just be like, hey, I'm just going to go through this thing. And if you didn't practice, well, now you get to practice in front of everyone. Have fun. Have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. Don't take any pressure on it. Be like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it's going to go and everything like that. So you're just going to get to go through it. So Paige, can we just do the stop share? We'll put it into the slides here. But it's going to get exciting, guys. So this is where we're going to learn this stuff. We're going to go through the slides so you can kind of learn from it. And then we're going to learn from each other and just be like, wow, it doesn't matter, right? Because we think we all have to be perfect at this, but they're seeing the best presentation they've ever seen because it's the first presentation they've ever seen. So it doesn't matter, right? So you don't just be in the middle, like, oh, I'm screwing up. They don't know you're screwing up. I never do this one right. You're like, they're like, what? You don't know how to talk, right? Like, you know, it's kind of crazy, right? So obviously you have the sizzle slides, right? And you're ready to go, and you just have them nice and quick. So this one here, we're not going to go into these ones right off the bat because you shouldn't take too long. For some reason, it's not clicking. Oh, here they are. The 4-step process. This shouldn't take too long here, guys. Right? This should just take 15 seconds if it's on the sizzle. Hey, we usually have this 4-step process, which takes a little bit longer when we go into the more detail, but I'm just going to run through this a little bit quicker, and then just going to get through. So we usually talk about myself, done. It's not too long. You're just kind of reading through that to get through it. So you show them that there's some 4-step process. And you're like, Mark, I'm just going to skip this. Don't do that, because what you're doing is actually giving them like a structure, right? And this is what we usually do. And I'm going to give you a little bit of I'm going to skip some stuff just because you are special. Trust me. Trust me, anything. Then you show them the thank you program, and you're going to love this. And this is what everybody's so excited about showing. Every time I show somebody this is because they see that, take advantage of this, but we'll talk more about that at the end. Sound good? Okay, perfect. Okay, so then you're going to get into the financial house if you don't know how the slides go. So again, you're going to talk about these things, about them being their best asset, right? You're going to work it up to the top, and then you're going to talk about a problem that may occur, right? That's the point of it. They're the foundation. Don't worry about insects or anything like that. Termites, don't have to say those things. You just go up to the top here, talk about their goal, and when you hit their goal, very quickly. So even when you're doing it today, you get to retirement. Like, hey, so when would you like to retire? When you're doing the practicing here, don't have somebody in the group say it, just say your own. So like, oh, would you like to retire? 50, perfect. Hawaii, would you like to retire? Hawaii, perfect, awesome. With who? Anybody, perfect, let's go. That's it, right? You're just gonna say, because you're just trying to get it done, but you wanna make sure you're saying that part, because usually that's gonna be 10, 20, 30 seconds to get them excited to find out what their goal is that you can bring up every 15 seconds throughout the rest of the presentation. So then obviously this happens, the reason why it happens, pick just one of these things, go down to the slide again, and then you're talking about all these things, everything's terrible in life, blah, blah, blah. And then say, but we're here, this is why Combined is here, because we're actually gonna care about you. Every major athlete in the world is protecting themselves, and this is why we're gonna protect you. This is why they're changing the industry, because we're worried about you. And then look what happens here, your goals, your dreams, and you can live in Hawaii with your friend or whoever there was be. That's it. So that's it, just up, down, all around, right, obviously, but it's just to be quick. So when we're practicing it, so we're gonna all practice this one. We're gonna take 5 minutes in the breakout rooms. So somebody that's ready to go. So the leader in the room is gonna have a timer, and they're also gonna maybe have the slide so they can click it for you or whatever it is. But even if it's not there and if it just shows it this way, you know it enough that you should be able to go with even out the clickety click, right? So guys, let's have some fun. So turn into groups of like 4 or 5 or in the breakout rooms, and just have a few people go rapid fire, get excited and be like, yo, I'm gonna show people what I got here and how fast I can do this presentation. All right, so we'll come back in 5 minutes. Enjoy, have some fun, and we'll see you guys in 5 minutes. Great job, everyone. All right, welcome back, welcome back. Turn your neighbor, give them a high five and say, you are amazing. All right, so so was that fun?
Yes.
Was it like, so what's some of the feedback? What was the kind of the key points, or it's just something anybody just want to kind of share, what they kind of learned from that is like, all right, well, we'll go Dan, then we'll go Paige here, and then we'll get one from Zoom.
When you're talking fast and with energy, it excites the other person. It gets them moving on your pace. So you are now controlling the pace and the energy of that minute, and you're keeping them engaged. 100%.
Beautiful. Let's give it up for Dan Swanson in the house.
Hey.
Beautiful, right?
Sorry, I was taking notes. Okay. Also, another thing is, what is the important facts and information that I need to deliver right now in this amount of time, aka a minute. So then you're not adding like the fluff, like talking about the foundation, then you have the drywall walls put up and like all the extra things, the shingles, like you don't need to be talking about all of the extra ad lib things. It's like, what is the facts that I need to get across right now?
Beautiful. Let's give Paige a huge round of applause. All right, let's get one from Zoomland.
Oh my gosh, Caleb's energy on fire. I fully believe the highest energy wins. And he was just kind of the whole time getting the whole group going. So just keeping it exciting, but also engaging with the person. Like Paige said as well, what's important, asking them a quick, yes or no to keep them engaged, and just hitting the points and then on to the next. So thanks, Caleb.
Beautiful. Great job, Kelly. And what other share? Anybody wants to do a share? All right, Mark. Okay, you do it. Okay. So Kelly, great job, and Caleb. But here's the idea, right? So if you run, right, anywhere, just if you've ever done this, you run, technically your heartbeat. That's why we put the wall there, because I don't want to go any further. But the reason why is your heartbeat gets going faster. But if you're just walking around the same old walking around, dragging your feet, that's why nothing gets exciting. But if you're running anywhere, your heartbeat gets up and gets going. So that's why they honestly say stand up when you're home. If you're just sitting in front of the computer, sometimes stand up and just shake it all about, and then just go sit down and get ready for it, because you're giving them the best presentation you can get. So the idea of doing a fast presentation, again, it might be, okay, maybe now I don't need to do 2 minutes if you're doing a presentation, but maybe a minute, but maybe it's a 2 minute or 3 minute, but now you know what's the major focus. Now we know what the real point of this is, because again, we could be talking forever, because the next slide that we're going to get to is, I know where we can lose people, right? Because this is the claim stories, right? Because you're like, I'm going to talk about my favorite claim, and I'm going to tell about why I like it. But the idea is, it's not about why you like it. It's what's the point of, if you're talking to somebody about it that's a journeyman, they just want to hear the word, this is what happened to another journeyman. That's it. And because then they think, oh, that could happen to me. So that's all our job is, to relate it to them, right? We don't want to be like, here's the big story, or here's anything like that, right? It's you're just like going on and like, oh, and then you're looking at them and they're not really getting it. And you're like, okay, you start throwing things in there. You just start, just come on, get excited about this. This is my favorite one, right? And then you start losing your way. Next thing you know, you're like 15 minutes into a claim story, and they're like, I'm not a mechanic. I'm like, right? But if you were a mechanic, right? Like, that's not the point. So, take ourselves out of the picture. So as we get into the next one, there's a slide up here, right? And again, you can always put your own slides into which ones that are going to translate to those people, but you should only probably be going through 1 to 2 of these, right? And just be 1 to 2, and then talk about the 28,800 claims this year, and nobody knows about us. So the crazy thing about this company is this, they actually pay claims, and here's a couple right now, but they actually have 28,800 and paid out 107 million, because we also you almost can be doing the financial statement with this one, right? But we'll also do the financial statement afterwards, just to be quick with it, to making sure you should only take 15 seconds. But if you can do this one knowing the financial statements right afterwards, then you know that you can actually probably get these both done in a minute, right? Because you can go through 1 or 2 stories, talk about the 28,000, and then you're showing them this is the facts. But the point is just showing them like, okay, right here, 99 million, sorry. You're just going like this really quickly. That's the whole point of it, is just to show them and be like, here, there's 2.5 million. We're 2.5 billion in our process. Don't worry about it. We have to worry about the claims. That's all they're waiting for, right? So if we can put these 2 slides together, that'd be great. But if you can, just try and get to the 2 claim stories and get excited about it and getting the point across. So let's just stay there with this one. But if you can also incorporate the other slide, you can, because you can kind of click into it. But let's just stay here on the claim stories for now, and just talking about the 2, pick 2 and get excited about it, and talk about the 28,000, because that's what they really want to hear, is that there's 28,000 more and nobody knows about us. And listen to the couple of these here right now. All right, so we'll practice this one. We'll go to the break rooms for 5 minutes here. So let's practice this. Let's give everything you got. You guys are amazing. Awesome. Have some fun. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Great job, everyone. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Turn to your neighbor, give them a high five and say, thank you for the claim story. All right. So again, we're having some fun, right? And did you notice, like, what was the kind of something that we noticed there with our claim stories a bit? Like,
Sometimes they go a little bit long.
sometimes they go a little bit long, right? And you can kind of see the timer and you're like, yeah, you're just fake news, right? And you start adding things like, oh, right? Oh, you're a welder. You know welders, right? And they're like, no. And you're like, oh. And then you're stuck there. You're like, well, you foiled me again. And then just pack up your stuff and leave, right? That's not the idea for it, right? You want to be properly prepared for this, and you're showing them. But remember, guys, it's just the energy. They're not really, no one's ever really listening. But you know what I mean? But if they hear certain things and they feel your energy, they're excited. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do. We're trying to create urgency from nothing. Because what you want to be able to do at any given moment is create urgency. The reason why your business is not going anywhere because your heart's not moving fast enough. You're not in love with it yet. But if you start saying it faster, you start to love it more faster, right? And you just be like, oh, wow. Start doing like that. If you say love things, they're just like, oh, I love you. And girls are like, oh my God, right? I'm not afraid to lie, but the idea, just joking. But guys, the idea here is to have fun and to sit there and to make sure you can create the energy out of nothing. And remember, sometimes you're going to be able to go faster through a slide. So we're going to practice more of these next week. So make sure you guys get ready with the HA because that's going to be the tough one to get through that in a minute, right? So you want to make sure you're practicing that and know exactly what's most important so you're ready to go for that. But the coolest thing about this is that any given moment, let's say the presentation's dead. And right, it just goes that way, right? Because it's just sometimes the energy's not there. You're not feeling great. You're just like, wait, I need to fix this. Now you know how. You just turn it on and they're like, what happened here? Right? Because if you're talking about like this thing, like it's the greatest thing ever, they're going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's the best thing about people in the world. That's why Kelly's saying the highest energy wins. You ever see somebody with energy? You want to be around it. They're just movers and shakers. You're just like, oh, I want to be around that person. Yes. Right? And so if you're sitting with, and if you get to talk to somebody with energy, it's just so contagious. So guess what? People always want to see that. So again, it's not, oh, I love insurance. Let me show you let me talk about the formation of a house. Building costs are up. Like you don't need to bring that stuff up to your presentation, right? You just get to the point and everything like that. So as we get to the Eagles layer, we got to talk about one last thing here at the very end here, guys, today. And then we'll get to the awesome video is our vision. Our vision we talked about on Monday is to go out there and do something special. We all got to get on the same page here and exactly start moving in the direction together. Because we're going to be number one, as Abigail was saying, we have this shot to go continue to be number one, right? We don't want to let it go. And right now, Perry is ahead of us, right? And we just know that we haven't even really played yet this year. Like we've some firing, some not firing, right? And all that kind of stuff. But what if we all get together and go after this thing? What if the common goal is just to be number one? Because maybe it's every little bit helps. Because maybe sometimes it's just like, I want to do this much, but maybe one week you land at 2 points, land at 6 points, the next thing you land at 12 points, and you're like, wow, look what I'm doing to add to the team. But then you're also protecting people and then your things, but on top of that, you're starting to make some money. It's kind of crazy, right? So our goal is to make sure that we're hitting 10,000 points. It's our 10,000 points that we want to shoot for, right? So the idea is that if we have 10,000 points from the beginning of the year, so we're already at 8,141 left. What a great start, hey? Boom, that happens every week around here, okay. But no, it doesn't. So 8,141 is what we have left. But if we all work together, that means we're not far off track of, because we're 4 months in and we haven't played yet. We didn't even have a goal like this yet. So now we have the goal. So now we can make up that little bit more because really technically you should probably be about 7,000 left, right? But that's okay because now we have the goal here. And that means every little bit helps. That means every single person that comes on in the future here is now added to help get some extra points so we can protect people. The best thing about points, guys, it's actually just policy points. That means a person's getting protected, but also in many different ways. So the more policy points you have, the more that person's protected. If they have a claim, which is the whole point of our business, they have a better chance of claiming. That's why you hear Paige and Ginny's and all these people every single time is because they all have points on something that something happens. $500 means so much more than zero, just to let you know, right? So understanding that we need to make sure of this. So you're also on teams. So what we're also going to do here is you're going to be on your team, and you guys are going to figure out this week how much you want to contribute to the 10,000, not the 8,000, because we already have it. Your sales leader will already know how many points you guys have done as a team, and you're going to minus that off. So let's say your goal is like 2,000. You're like, okay, 2,000 for the year. We've already done 400, whatever it is, 300. And then you're like, okay, now we're going to go at this thing full blast. But then guess along the way, guys, you're going to find out that you're going to start hitting the trips. You're going to start hitting the Dare to Dream Bigs, because now the bigger goal is everybody out there to go after it. So every single one of the teams is going to make sure that they're putting up what the numbers they're going to shoot for. And then we're going to go for that. So next week, so when you talk to your team this week, you're going to be like, okay, I want to contribute this. And then you're going to all work it out from backwards and be like, I'm willing to go give this everything you've got. And let's say you shoot for like, Mark, I want to do 200 points or whatever it is for the end of the year, and you hit 185, but you land on the trip and you get your Dare to Dream prizes. Is that a problem? No. So that's not like, that's the whole point. We got to trick ourselves into winning, right? That's the idea, because we got the saboteur to saying no, but we're like, you know what, I'm going to go for points. I'm going to shoot for points and all that kind of stuff, and everything's going to change here. So this is what's going to happen over next week, and then we're going to start the countdown starting Monday of going down on these points, right? So then we're going to get down to that 0 point, and we're also going to hit, and we're going to win this whole year by a long shot. We don't want to win by 250 APV. We want to win by 1 million APV and be like, so like, what's going on with District 6? And the next year after that, we do 15,000. And then the next year after that, we do 20,000. Next thing you know, there's 500, 1,000 of us. And then we're all starting to have like this. We have some cool things coming out, guys. We're talking about big culture, where we're going, what we're doing, because we haven't seen it yet. We haven't got together and fought for this yet, because the company needs us. Right now, they're taking away face-to-face. So guess what? Half the company right now is dead again. We're we going. And now you can still do the face-to-face. You just got to make sure you're a bit more strategic with it, right? So guys, this is where we're going. This is going to happen. And honestly, once this thing is lifted, it's going to be so great, because we're going to be so much better than anybody. Who's excited about this? Yes. All right, turn your neighbor, give him a high five and say 10,000 points. All right, everybody. So let's get into the video here, guys. We have a little Mr. Joe Rogan, and he's going to lay it down for us. He's just talking about forgetting what you've ever done before. Don't let that hurt you now. We're all not perfect. There's things that I would never tell my mom, right? Ever, right? My mom is the sweetest heart in the world. And you don't have to be ashamed for it and hold it in and be like, oh, I should have fixed that. No, just let that go, because now you can change it.
Yes.
Because some people are like, oh, I should have been further along by now. You're here in the video. I should be further along. No, you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And this is where you can take your shot. So this is fantastic. Don't worry about anything else out there. This is your shot. Of course, we'd like to be 18 and be running at this thing and being multimillionaire, right? But that's not the case, because that time has passed. So let's just go get it and get it now, right? And show everybody else. All right, so go to the break. We'll go to the chats, and we'll watch the video, and we'll come back in a little bit of time. A huge round of applause. Great job, everyone. Fantastic. All right, so let's get to the R2A2 to close out today, guys. So the idea I got was what it means to me. Here's how I'll use it in my starting days. It's always great to leave on an action note to know exactly where you're going. So the idea I got was what it means to me. Here's how I'll use it. My starting date is. All right, welcome back. Turn your neighbor, give him a high five, and say thank you for the R2A2. Great job, everybody. Fantastic. Great job. Give yourselves a huge round of applause. Had some fun today, hopefully. Guys, also a great start to the week here. Give yourselves a huge round of applause here. Great start. Let's continue that momentum. Let's keep pushing for all the people that are going, guys. Honestly, this is a great time to really set up for the springtime that's going to lead you into the summer. And guys, it's going to be a fantastic year, right? Guys, remember the face-to-face approval now. We just have to go through an extra little step with it. So just make sure you're in contact with your sales leader. We can step that through. And sales leaders also, we can just text Mike at the same time. Once you send that through, just in case it's a quicker one, you just want to send them a text and the email at the same time, just in case. And then obviously, let's give Abigail a huge round of applause. 52 weeks, setting the bar, going for it. Give her a huge. But honestly, what we were hearing from her today was she's learning from everything, learning and growing, and being like, you know what, I can get better, and I'm getting better. And that's what the 52 weeks is, because she at 27, then she went and did the 52. And then you get rewarded for it. And before it was for the prize, and now she's like, no, the prize is me getting to 52. And that's the change up, and that's us going to the next level. Let's give Abigail a huge round of applause. What a great speech today. That was fantastic. Got me fired up. All right. And then we talked about 1-minute slides, guys. How do we have some fun with that, right? So again, we're going to do that next week again, so we can have some more fun with it, because it creates energy and creates that kind of thing, gets your heart going, but it also gets them going. People are sick and tired of just boring things all the time. So why not give them something that they want to talk about, right? Oh my goodness, did you hear Teddy today? You know, like they want to hear those types of things, right? So you just want to give them everything today. They're like, who's Teddy? Like, let me show you, right? And that's the whole thing. And then another thing here, guys, if you don't know what certain things are, I can come and punch you in the face. That's what's in the video. And then, you know, if something happens to you, you hurt yourself, then you're like, oh. Or like a real injury happens, you're like, oh, wow. I've been complaining for years. Right? That's my brother. I'm like, I'm going to give him something to cry for, right? Like it's the idea is that we can start creating all these things, but when you actually, you know, correct yourself when you're driving, then you start to know what's most important. And that's the thing here, guys, is that we got to know what's most important. You can't just keep going through the motions every single week thinking it's all going to change. You heard Candace, she's like this. I'm just, you know, I'm going through, it's not like she doesn't want things, but she's like, I need to reset. I need to do something. I need to find my follow-up. And then she's like, wow, look at all these people I can follow up with. And then we reset our business. It's our business, right? That's the biggest key here. So don't dwell on what has happened wrong. Don't dwell on who that was before, because there's obviously things that we're not 100% proud of in life, or we think we should be further ahead, or we should be a multimillionaire, and we've already given up. Guys, we don't know if there's a second one. So why not just go, hey, what's the difference? Maybe I've learned all these certain things. Like the guy that started KFC, the Lewis's Chicken, right? He was 65 years old. And became a billionaire by 81. I mean, this guy, we're talking about like everybody else is done at 65. This guy's like, I'm just getting going. But it was all the things that led up to this time. You've been through things, let yourself go and be like, yo, I deserve now. This is the time to go, right? So it's just to have to respect that, you know, sometimes it's not about just like, okay, you know, I should get these things. If you want it, go get it. If you want your name mentioned every single day here, go get Plinko every single week and you'll get your name mentioned, right? The idea here is like, that's the old you is you. And there's a day that you can just draw it in the sand and be like, today's the day I'm going to go put up the points. Yes. Why don't I want 25 points? Oh, 6 points. Oh, that's not for me. Or I'm not 25 points. Why is that not for you? Who does not want to play Plinko? Like what kind of crazy world are we telling ourselves? Guys, this is a place for you to let go and be like, whatever I was before, that's not important. Nobody knows. I don't know if you've ever heard of this phrase before. It's called, you can't be a Master C in your own hometown. And what that means is you can't be, because everybody knows you who you are. So what that means is you can be somebody brand new today because you're judging yourself. But you can be that Master's MC in that town because then everybody back in over time is going to be like, oh, I always knew Dan could do it. I always knew Tamara could do it. I always knew Candace was going to win there. I always knew she was going to be million. Just the way she talked about things, just the way she acted about things. I always knew Janelle was something special. I always knew Ginny had it in her. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about? I always knew Abigail was the champion that she is, right? And that's the kind of cool things that we want to know. But that's what they're going to say after you've done it. But right now, they don't want you to go because then they have to look at themselves. So our shot here is to go inspire millions of people, to show that you could go out there and do something special. That's what we have to do with this company. So if you want 25 points, you can have 25 points. It's actually kind of a joke. Really, if you think about it, it's what, 5 families? Done. Casey did 8 points. You've heard Alex done 10 points. I've seen people do 12 points in one sit down. 2 of those a week, boom, done. Plinko, right? Like we should be having so much fun. So the goal is 10,000 points. The goal is how many points you want to put up. The goal is just let's go have fun and just start knocking it down, because on the way to that journey, guys, we're going to have so much fun. And that's the whole point of this. So don't limit ourselves. Let's go give every single thing we got here. Let's go do what we got to do best to be number 1 in the company, because we're District 6 and? We got this. We're District 6 and? We're District 6 and? Turn your neighbor, give him a high five and say, we got this. Great job.